What's up, y'all? It's me, it's your boy Asmongold, and today we're doing it. We're doing the Asmongold Academy, and this is episode 1, and we're going to start off with what you guys have been asking me to do since forever, which is a Fury Warrior guide. Now, we're going to be doing mostly Fury here. Now, the step 1 to playing an Arms Warrior in raiding is to respec a Fury. Okay, now we're on step 2. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to look at the first your stats. Crit is your best stat. Crit's your best stat because it gives you Bloodthirst crits. Basically, fucking obviously. Basically, Bloodthirst has twice as much of a chance to crit. And so, if at 53% chance to crit, you effectively never don't crit Bloodthirst at 53%. So you want to be getting close to that as possible. As you can see, I'm at 47%. And another thing that I'll mention right here is you want to be using this Mad Hosen Elixir whenever you get good gear, because it's going to make you do more and more damage. With your mastery. And your mastery is your second best stat, and your mastery, pretty much all that does is it's a flat damage increase whenever you're enraged. And guess what? Whenever you crit, you get enraged, and whenever you're enraged, you do more damage. So it's like this symbiotic relationship between the two, and it's really awesome. But basically, crit is definitely your best stat, and mastery is definitely your second best stat. And your third best stat is obviously haste. Haste is not very good, but it's better than, I don't know, like hit chance over 7.5%, which is actually something that I should also talk about. Your hit and your expertise should both be at 7.5%, okay? It's very important that they're there. If not, you have a chance to miss your attacks, and that's fucking terrible. You always want to have 7.5% chance to hit, and a 7.5 chance for expertise. Expertise over 7.5% is absolutely completely fucking wasted, is completely useless. Hit over 7.5% is just pretty much terrible, but it's not completely wasted. With best in slot gear, you will probably be over hit cap unless you do some different items with haste on them, like the boots from, was it Dark Shamans instead of these, or the belt from Iron Juggernaut. Sorry about that. But anyway, that's more advanced stuff, and I'm not really going to talk about that. I was going to go over like the best in slot list here, but we're only going to talk about three things that really matter. You want to have your 2-piece bonus from your from the Siege of Orgrimmar gear, because basically that's going to give your Colossus Smashes. It's going to basically make all of your attacks within Colossus Smash cost 5 less rage. And so it's very important to be doing as much damage as you can within Colossus Smash. And so obviously this is going to be something you need. The 4-piece kind of sucks. Your Trinkets are also important. Evil Eye of Galacrast is very important because it makes it to where you can use Stormbolt within your Colossus Smash rotation every single time. Now, at 50% cooldown reduction, you're able to use Stormbolt without having to like hold off on using Colossus Smash or anything. You can use it perfectly because they both have a 20-second cooldown equally, and so it's no problem. Before then, you might want to skip 1 GCD before you go into your Colossus Smash rotation. But other than that, it's just very important to have this trinket as soon as you can get it. It's probably the most important trinket for Fury Warriors right now. The Thox Tail Tip is also very important. Sorry, my eyes are watery. I don't know why. The Thox Tail Tip is also very important because obviously it gives you more critical strike damage. It's like having half of a skull banner down all the time, and also gives you more haste and mastery. And so it's definitely a good thing to have, but it's definitely absolutely not as important as the Evil Eye of Galacrast. Now, basically, as I said, I'm not really going to go over every single piece of gear. It's just make sure you have your 2-piece and prioritize your gear with crit, mastery, and haste after you get your 7.5 hit and expertise. Anyway, after that, we'll talk about the talents and glyphs. Now, basically for your talents, you want to have double time. I use double time for fights like Paragons, where I have to move around a lot quickly, but not all the time. But whenever I do have to move around, I have to move around very quickly and a lot. And I use Juggernaut for fights like Iron Juggernaut, where I get knocked back, and so I can get a charge in every single Sonic Blast, or Sonic whatever, the knockback thing. Second Wind is just a really easy thing to use. I don't really use Impending Victory because it costs rage. Kind of sucks too. It only does 38,000 damage. So I don't really know what that actually is, but it's probably really terrible. Probably about, yeah, it's as much as Victory Rush, and Victory Rush doesn't do any damage. And Disrupting Shot is really good for like Garrosh ads. Blade Storm is pretty much really good always. The only fight that you want to really use Dragon's Roar for is something like Raw Den or for Siege of Orgrimmar like Iron Juggernaut. And even then, some people say Bladestorm is better single target DPS than Dragon's Roar is. Don't quote me on that. But anyway, Vigilance is your best 75 talent. Safeguard is not really as good if you're doing high level raids. But anyway, Stormbolt is going to be your best talent for like your level 90 talents. It will be about average with Bloodbath whenever you're doing a very huge AoE fight and you don't have the Evil Eye of Galakras. So basically, as soon as you get the Evil Eye of Galakras, you want to be using Stormbolt all the time. And Stormbolt is also what makes Titan's Grip the best spec here. If you're playing Single-Minded Fury, stop being a bitch and get some real weapons, because the other thing that's really important about the about Fury, Titan's Grip, is that these 200 weapons give you a lot of stats, and those stats are crit. And you want to have crit. Remember, crit, 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 crit. That's all you want. Anyway, talk about Glyphs. Unending Rage. This is the one that you want all the time. Glyph of Raging Wind is okay for AoE fights. Basically, if you want to have two for sure glyphs, these are the two that I almost always use. Glyph of Whirlwind, I just kind of use this for AoE. For a pure single target fight, I use Bull Rush or Death from Above. And Rage Speed is also good if you have to chase after things, because your auto attacks do a lot of damage. And let's see, is there anything else important here? No, it's just a bunch of fucking garbage. So anyway, just make sure you have this. This is the real important one here. Other than that, Glyph of Raging Wind is probably the second best, and Whirlwind and or Death from Above is probably third best. I don't know. It really kind of it depends on your play style also. Let's see. Other than that, okay. So we'll talk about the rotation now. Basically, the rotation is really fucking simple. You want to pool as much rage and everything, and so you can burn it all in Colossus Smash, which is again why you want to have this Glyph of Unending Rage, because you have 120 rage that you can pool instead of 100 rage, and so obviously it's a little bit better. You charge in. I'm gonna do a couple of I'm gonna do like 1 minute DPS test. I'm gonna show you guys how much DPS I can do, and then you guys can kind of I don't know, like compare. Then I'll go through my damage breakdown and all that other stuff. I did this video a couple minutes ago, and I had somebody yelling at me, and so I had to cut it like 15 minutes in. But anyway, it's pretty simple. You charge in. Make sure you always use Battle Shout before you charge in, so you can get the extra rage. And then you go ahead and open up with Bloodthirst, Colossus Smash, and then your Colossus Smash rotation should be every single time Stormbolt, Raging Blow. If you're rage capped at this point, use another Raging Blow. If you're not rage capped, use Bloodthirst, okay? And after the second Raging Blow, if you are rage capped, then you use Bloodthirst. And if you weren't rage capped after you use Bloodthirst, then you use Raging Blow. I'm going to have this in the video, so don't worry about it. I'm going to have it like on the screen. That's my plan. That's what I was thinking about doing. And so hopefully we'll have that happen. And you pop all your cooldowns at the start. You're just going, like, whenever you're Fury Warrior, you go Big Dick right from the start, and you don't stop going Big Dick until that boss is dead, okay? That's how you do it. And I'm going to show you guys exactly how it goes down. Alright, let me go ahead and start the timer. It's going to be for 1 minute, okay? Current fight. That's probably going to mess it up. Just a second. Okay, that should be good. And pop my little Kafka press for fast attacks. And pop all my cooldowns. Stormbolt, Raging Blow, Bloodthirst, Raging Blow with... and obviously you want to be using as many heroic strikes as you can. Okay, I'm outside of that. Basically, I'm just pretty much using... I use Wild Strike whenever I don't have enough rage to do Raging Blow and nothing else is up. Okay, and this is up. I probably shouldn't have used that last Wild Strike. And again, since I'm not rage capped, I use another Bloodthirst. And this is kind of shitty, but it's okay. I'm doing 500k DPS, so... Oh, I didn't start the timer. That's adorable. Well, after my next Colossus Smash rotation, I'll just kind of end it there. Pretty close to a minute. Anyway, as you can see, I'm about half rage. That was, again, I'm not very good at, like, kind of maintaining my rage, but it's still okay because I have enough attacks that I can kind of always use them within Colossus Smash anyway. And we'll just stop right there. So I did 433k DPS. Pretty good. And as soon as this stops, then I'll be able to... This will reset every single time I do this here. Okay. So anyway, as you guys can see, Raging Blow is my highest hitting attack, And as you can see, it has a two-part component, so it's Raging Blow offhand. So this thing's hitting for over 1,000,000, alright? Raging Blow is very important. Second attack is obviously my melee attack. Look, I hit for 400,000 melee attack. And so that's why it's always important to be on your target. On your target, going big dick. On your target, going big dick. And that's why you want as many, like if you need to use the enraged speed or death from above, you want to use it. Okay, it's very important to always be on your target. Okay, Stormbolt is also a big attack. Look at that, did 1.6 million fucking damage. Like, think about that. That's a lot. All right, that's like Ragnaros. That's like 2 Ragnaroses. I'm doing 2 Ragnaroses in one attack. Think about that. Like each of my hammers is a Ragnaros. You know, it's actually funny because they actually are Ragnaroses because they're sulfurous. So we'll get back on topic here. Deep Wounds is very high damage here, and it's very silly not to count how much damage that Deep Wounds actually does, and that's why whenever you're doing a multi-target fight, which is what I'll explain in a minute here, you want to be having Deep Wounds on if you're fighting 2 to 3 targets, I try and keep Deep Wounds on all 3 targets, okay, and I just rotate between the 3 of them because Deep Wounds is so much damage now. Anyway, Bloodthirst doesn't really do much damage at all. It's fucking terrible. You just use it to get rage. Heroic Strike, you pretty much only want to be using this to either prevent a rage cap or to, what's it called? To be using it inside Colossus Smash. But if you're not preventing a rage cap and you're not inside Colossus Smash, you don't want to be using that. Let's see, Raging Blow, or not Raging Blow, what is this called? Wild Strike. I don't even know what that spell is. Wild Strike usually does a lot more damage than that, but I guess it didn't there. I really only use Wild Strike if Bloodthirst is on cooldown and I don't have Raging Blow up and I'm not within Colossus Smash. It's kind of like a last case scenario here. And anyways, you guys can see that's pretty much my damage breakdown. And so what I'll do now is I'll show you a 2-target rotation and what I do. Basically, I'm going to be using Whirlwind inside of here to proc Meat Cleaver, and I'm also going to be keeping Deep Wounds up on both targets. Other than that, it's pretty much going to be the same thing. Inside my Colossus Smash rotation, I'm going to be pretty much doing full single target DPS. And so anyway, we'll go ahead and get this shit on the road. I'll start the timer this time. Pop cooldowns, and again, I'm going to be doing all my damage onto one target here. And as soon as my Colossus Smash falls off, I'm going to switch over to the other target. And I'm going to go ahead and get Deep Wounds up on him. And as soon as my Deep Wounds is on him again, as soon as I refresh again, I'm going to switch again. And then I'll be able to refresh Deep Wounds on this one. And now I'll start my Whirlwind rotation. And as you can see here, my Colossus Smash is up. And I'm very high up. Probably should have switched there, but I didn't. After this one, I will go ahead and switch over to my other target. And I switch off now. See, I let Deep Wounds fall off. And I should be using a lot more Whirlwinds. I'm being really lazy with that right now. And so hopefully I can make up some of this DPS. I'm moving back up on damage. And after this Bloodthirst, I'm going to go ahead and wait for my Colossus Smash again. And I'm going to go ahead and just put my full single target DPS into this one. And go ahead and switch off now. And put my Deep Wounds back up. And then just start the same thing again. I'm doing about, let's see. I already went over the timer. Okay, I'm doing about 433k DPS, about the same. I did make some little mistakes, as you guys saw, and so obviously there's a lot to be improved on. Nobody's perfect. And so anyway, I also didn't even use Bladestorm. I thought that would be kind of like derpy. But as a good rule for Bladestorm, you want to use Bladestorm outside of Colossus Smash and Stormbolt. Okay, just so you can basically, because Stormbolt and Colossus Smash are basically where you get a lot of your damage from, as you guys can see. And so it's very important to pretty much maximize that damage whenever you can. And other than that, guys, there's a lot that goes into playing a Fury Warrior. And I could take an hour and make a video about it, or I could make a lot of different videos about it, and so you guys can pick and choose what you want to learn about. And so that's what I'm going to be doing here. This is basically a basic guide on your rotation, like your talents, your glyphs, your reforges. As I said again, let's talk about that one more time. Crit, mastery, haste, in that order, okay? And make sure you have your hit and expertise at 7.5%. But you want to have as much crit as possible. And again, for arms, the first step to playing an arms warrior is to respect the fury, which arms is actually pretty good. It's not entirely true. I use arms on Galacrass and other AoE fights, and like Fallen Protectors also. Arms is amazing for AoE fights, but most fights in Siege of Orgrimmar just don't really warrant it. But I'm going to go into that more in detail in my other videos. But anyway, that's pretty much all we're going to be doing for this video. If you have any questions about just like the basic rotation, everything like that, and all that other stuff, go ahead and ask me in the comments, and I'll for sure answer whatever you want to know. Other than that, that's pretty much it. And so I'll be doing other guides with like how to maximize Berserker stance, and when to what professions to use, and this, that, and everything. And we'll do all that in other videos, but I don't want to make this one too long. So anyway, thank you for watching, and like, comment, subscribe.